Welcome to today's episode of The Blueprint with authors and speakers Jacqueline Thorne and Aida Sanchez. Today is episode 3, and we are talking about strong friends. Strong friends. I'm so excited. Hey, ladies, how are you?
Hello. Good evening. I'm well, thank you.
I'm super excited because Jacqueline had the vision and the idea and the divine download for today's episode on Strong Friends. So you take it away, sis.
All right. Well, good evening. I feel like, when you go into your sister's closet and she lets you wear something, I feel like I busted in, you let me come in and you let me wear the hat. So thank you.
You got it.
Uh-huh. So we know we've heard the term strong friends, right? Check on your strong friends. As leaders, as managers, we run countries, we do a gamut of things. However, strong friends are also the friends that people think are okay, right? They think that, it's only a one-way door to get advice or get direction or get some help or be that phone call in the middle of the night, I need help, right? However, we've talked about sharing our stories and how important they are. We've talked about I'm every woman. We talked about self-care. So now strong friends, I'd like to know how do we implement, right? How do you take care of yourself? We can relate to a lot of women and men on this path in life, and I thought it would be a great subject to check on your strong friends. I had some conversations with some girlfriends recently about the assumption that you're okay, but I'm not, right? You're just not. And if you don't open up your mouth, you don't know that you're okay. So I'd like to know from you, Lisa. I know that you're the BS boss, and I know you're a boss literally and figuratively. I know you have children that you've reared as well. So you're a boss on all fronts. So how do you balance the work life um, um, responsibilities, being that strong friend, being that leader? How do you handle, how do you have a balance, and do you see it carry over into your personal life?
I think the balance, to be honest, like you said, this was such a good topic, is strong friends. Is the importance of I'm not by myself, because the times that I think that I'm doing it by myself is when I stress out, when I
Mm-hmm.
burn out, when I get frustrated, and
Yes.
when I just want to sit in the corner and do nothing, right?
Mm-hmm.
And
Mm-hmm.
that's not a good place to be. So the only way that I can balance it all is I don't. It's faith in God.
Right.
And good friends, and like, so we know I'm on travel right now.
Mm-hmm.
I'm in the DC area, and the project that I'm working on is a little stressful, so I have been intentional about building in de-stressors,
Mm.
intentional
Yes.
about building in time where I can turn off my brain. I can just, spend time doing nothing in
Right.
order to keep the balance and not get um, burned out. So look, y'all not calling me like, Lisa, where you at? We supposed to be live this.
Right.
We supposed to be live Friday at noon. Where are you at?
Right.
And somewhere
Right.
in the fetal position, you know?
Right. Right. So would you say that you embrace the word no?
Embrace it. What,
Yeah.
honey?
Well,
Embrace.
it has
No,
to be a discipline, right? The yes,
no,
yes, yes. You have to work in your nose. So tell me about your nose.
no is a complete sentence. Subject, verb, agreement.
Yes, 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 yes.
And learning how to say no, period. Not no, but
Hmm. Right.
no, and offering a whole bunch of explanations and things like that. Yeah, can
Right.
you do? No,
Hmm.
nope.
Yep.
Mm-mm. Yeah.
And own it. Right.
And own it and sit in it and be present to it.
Yes. Yes. Absolutely. Absolutely. Now, Ada, I call you a serial entrepreneur. You're my go-to person for a lot of things. You're very resourceful. And I know in this new realm, you still have a lot of things floating around. So tell us how you manage it all and tell us about, the weight of being a boss.
It takes a lot of discipline in balancing my a glammy.
Mhm. Yes.
Oh my goodness, she really, really expects a lot of me, a lot of my time for this, and expected me to go pick her up. And speaking of no, no, right? But yes, it takes balance. I have to take time out of my day sometimes just to do nothing and just cleared so that I can think about what it is that I need to do for me. A little challenge these couple of weeks with my allergies, so I'm just trying myself and my needs. It's very hard to try to, and you're not there for yourself. You like you said, Jacqueline, you can't pour. So we have to make sure that we stay fueled and that we're able to and while we're present so that we can help, or hand, whatever it is that your goals are, whatever it is that you need to do in the workplace and leader. So it's so important that we, grace and just do things by faith and only do what we can do. And of course, no is an anointed word. Apply that
Mhm.
daily.
Mhm. Do you find that you are a strong friend in many areas of your life? Private, spiritually, in relationships. Are you the go-to person in all facets or in some facets?
All facets. I from my family, friends, I have nephews, I have my son. Spiritually, I'm pouring into my family and friends that are going through life. Everyone has their certain cycles in life that they go through things. Now we're grandmothers, children, and life happens. So I'm always there to support, ear, and not be judgmental and just hear whatever I'm about to hear.
Right.
And just listen. And if the me a word to give them, that's what I share. I don't want to make anyone feel criticizing their situation because we all have situations, and all I want to do is make sure that all things are going to work together for good.
Right.
So a big area of my life for the past couple of months it's just been a lot of family, pouring into family, speaking to my the generation, speaking to them and helping them with whatever it is that they're going through so they can see things from lenses, because a lot of times they tend to want to react. Helping them to take things and look at it from God's lenses.
Right.
And what would Jesus do? Because a lot of times we look at the worst case scenario, but if we sit back and analyze it from a different set of lenses, it's really not as bad as it looks. So
Okay.
that's what I'm trying to get across to them.
Great. Well, I say for myself, prayer helps, right? And you really do need to protect yourself, right? Protect and have boundaries. There's a couple of books
Absolutely.
written on boundaries as well. But boundaries can be good because you can't pour from an empty cup, and you can't keep on giving, giving, giving without replenishing. So I liked what both of you have said. And we have to have that reflector up sometimes, right? Strong friends have strong friends, and so that's why I knew that you could both relate to this subject. Lisa, can you speak to being an authority and empowering the people that you lead, with being a strong leader? How do you invoke that to the people that are following you so that they don't always come to you for questions, and that you help them see that they can take a lead on something. Can you speak to that?
Sure. There's the what is it? The Chinese proverb that says, you teach a man, you can either give a man a meal and he'll eat for a day, but you teach him how to fish and he'll eat for a
Yes.
lifetime, right?
Yes.
So the key is showing people by example, real time examples of what needs to be done, what works well for me, and for them to find what works well for them, giving them permission.
Right.
I like what you said, Jacqueline, about boundaries, because that's something that I had to learn
Yes.
early on in my professional career. Because and so here's the thing. So I used to think, as a believer and as a woman, and in ministry and all of that, give. Somebody asks, you say yes, you give, no boundaries.
Right.
And so when I would get burned out and finally had to be taught by reading the books about boundaries, and
Hmm.
how boundaries are healthy for everybody, for
Right.
me as the person who set them, and for those that I'm in relationship with, whether in the work environment, professional environment, entrepreneurial, whatever
Right.
it is, setting those boundaries so they know what's acceptable and what's not acceptable, and then they can put those boundaries in place for themselves. And so to be honest, I lead by example. I'm not going to ask anybody to do anything or tell anybody about doing something that I'm not doing myself.
Hmm.
Don't
Hmm.
do it.
I
and
like that.
so um and so that's it's being a strong friend and being there for everybody else and showing up in the workplace and being that example is still having the balance.
Yes.
Um, yeah, so it's so like even today there was somebody, with this post-COVID environment, um, this telework thing is real, and finding qualified employees for vacancies is a challenge because so many places are offering 100% remote.
Right. Right. Right.
And my workplace doesn't offer 100% remote. So I'm just sharing in terms of how we have to be flexible and how we,
Hmm.
you know, and being agile, because sometimes being strong, people think it's being rigid,
Hmm. Hmm.
but
But
it's being
yeah.
flexible,
Yes. Yes.
adjusting, adapting to different circumstances and environments. And so someone today during the interview was like, perfect candidate. And immediately when we said, oh, but you have to come in one day a week, the person was like, I live in California and the job is in DC. I was like, oh my gosh, you know,
Wow.
yeah. So
Mhm.
it's even in that, it's
Yes.
trusting God that the right person will come along. This will be a good fit for them. It'll be a good fit for us, all of that sort of thing. So it's being flexible, strong. Yeah. And so then, oh my gosh. And so then the other thing that comes to mind is a bridge. Now I know when you go across a bridge and you feel that bad boy move and
Mm.
sway,
Hmm.
and I'm like, Lord Jesus. The bridge, in order for it to be able to withstand the wind and the pressure, there has to be some give and some flexibility. Come
Hmm.
on, for a
Hmm.
bridge that is
Yes.
suspended over
Mhm.
water to take you from dry land over water back to dry land has to have some give and some flexibility. But
Right.
even in that, it has boundaries. If it goes too far one way, it'll break. If it goes too far the other way, it'll break. So I'm just gonna
Mhm.
leave it right there. So you
I
know,
know. I know I have a lot of engineer friends. I know they are buzzing right now about and you told you can't you brought You brought my field in, right? I work in transportation, bridges, tunnels, streets, planes, highways. So yes, you are so right. So I have a question for both of you. I'd like you to answer first, Aida. I'm not sure if you've ever been asked this before. As a strong friend or a strong support, how does one support you? What does that look like? And if you needed some time to think about it, because typically we don't get that opportunity, right? And when we do have the opportunity, you need to be able to respond, right? You need to say, how does helping me, how does that look like? You have to paint a picture. You have to help them help you, right? How does that look like? What does that look like for you? And have you defined that for yourself?
Because I guess, you know, if I go through things, I tend to just pray about it. Too much about things that I go through, because of communion with my father. I mean, I have friends that I do speak. Anything pressing. I just don't like putting my situation. And I mean, unless someone calls me and asks, "Hey, you sound a little down. What's going on?" Or so, you know, I'm just pondering on some things, and I may share, you know, what it is that I'm. But I'm not one to pick up the phone and just call someone, just say, "Hey, I'm going through X, Y, and Z." I just have dealing with whatever it is and just trusting God for whatever it is I need to. I don't mind sharing, but it's not a practice. I guess I'm the one always pouring into others, you know, and I just, that's a tough question for me. It really is.
Yeah, I
To be
know.
honest.
It is. I know it's hard, right? And that's why I asked it, because we don't think about ourselves and how we get support, right? And so I'm presenting it so that we're in the habit of doing that, right? We need to have some support, right? Without judgment, without anything else. We wear a lot of hats. So I want you to chime in, Dr. Lisa.
So Aida, sit with that for a little bit and think about that. Yeah, Jacqueline, because that's an excellent question. Because if someone were inspired to call you and say, Aida, you were just on my heart, you were on my mind. How are you doing? Would you tell them the truth?
Right.
And if they said, how, yeah, like you said, Jacqueline, how can I support you? How can I be there for you?
Oh, absolutely. I would open up, if, because they ask.
Okay.
You know, so be honest and open up. But I'm just not accustomed to just opening one to, you know, to ask for someone's help me to think about, you know, how to navigate through it. But if someone actually share, and yeah, I would share.
So that
And
goes back to what you said, Jacqueline, is that check on your strong friends. So if you don't
Exactly.
ask the strong friends, then they don't answer. Okay, so before I answer, Jacqueline, you answer.
Okay. I already have an answer prepared. Thank you very much. No, I will say this has come out of real life. My sister, my sister cousin, we travel a lot. And on our last travel, I hope she doesn't mind me sharing this. I'm not going to go into detail, but the question came up about, don't I support you? Am I not there for you? And I said, yes, but to a point, right? And that point was because I wasn't in the habit of sharing. We don't live in the same state, right? And we don't see each other, right? So when we're not doing a Zoom or something like that, you're not able to see character traits in the face or what's going on. You can hear inflections in the voice, but you're not seeing each other. And I realized through that I wasn't getting support because I wasn't open to saying where I needed support. Right. I'm just used to juggling and carrying it all. But now, my coach, my sister friends, spiritually, my mother, my bonus mothers, my bonus sisters, I feel supported all the way around now because I open my mouth. Again, you said when you just get to the end of yourself, right? It's just too much juggling, and you can't go but so far. So I found that to be very helpful in opening up and sharing what I was going through. And no matter what you're going through and whatever situation, somebody else is going through it also. So you need to open your mouth and state what it is. So I don't have a problem with doing that now, but I also know about the boundaries, right? I still need to protect, my boundaries so that I can have a place to refresh, to heal, to listen to Father talk to me. So if you're so busy and you can't hear these messages, it's time to do something different. So that's my response.
So it's funny that you call her your sister cousin, because I have a cousin that I call him my cuz bro. So he's a cousin, but he's more like a brother. So I call him cuz bro.
Right.
And so what he has taught me is that for his support, because he's very strong and he pours into so many people's lives himself, is he has what he calls a council. And a council is what you said, Jacqueline. They're friends who are like family, and family members that are like his inner circle tribe.
Right.
That they share, they come together, have brunches, and just enjoy and talk about what's going on in their lives, and it's in a place of safety and no judgment. The place where they can share their hearts, their disappointments, and their woes. And so he was like, Lisa, you need to get yourself a counsel, right? And I have that. I have that, and he's part of it, and part of his counsel is part of it. And that's part of my trips to New York, to Brooklyn.
Yes.
And sitting on his front porch, and we have laughed on the porch, we have cried on the porch, we have danced, everything.
Right.
But in a safe space that yes, prayer is important. Yes, getting in the presence of God is important. But we live on earth, and God uses people.
Right.
He uses people to speak into us, to pour into our lives, to be there to support and encourage us. So that is critical, to have a place and a space and people that you can just let your hair down. You can have your moments, and you can say, look, I'm not feeling it today. Right. And know that somebody's not going to, for me, right? So you asked the question, what is supportive to me?
Right.
For me, what is supportive is, please don't quote scriptures to me. I got that, right? Yeah. I got my relationship with God. If I need somebody to just kind of not physically smack me, but like, girl, get it together, I need that, right?
Yes.
I need, okay, after that, I done had my diatribe and I did all of this, then be like, okay, do you feel better now?
You need to have your pity party, right? You have a day or two. After that, we have to get it together.
Or you even say, okay, I'm gonna time you. You got about 30 minutes. Do what you got to do, and in 30 minutes, I'm coming back, and we gonna have a whole different conversation, or 10 minutes, or whatever the case may be. That's what I need. That supports me, because it's not many people that being a boss and all of these kind of things that you can just do that with, you know?
Right.
So,
Right.
Well,
Ada, yeah.
I'm going. I remember going through one hard experience in life where I did have group. My sister friend that lives in New Jersey, her and her family. When I tell you, just I mean, to have a family that feels like they're you and they're not, that's so special. I mean, to open their doors, I mean, just there for me. Um, I mean, like I'm through it all. They just welcomed me into their home. I mean, I just felt like I felt like a part of the family, even from their extended family. You know, their sister, brother, their mom, and their dad. It was just an amazing support system. So to leave that out because it's not a recent situation, but that's the I really, admired and honored. Not too many people open their doors or, take time. And they're like, no, you could even stay here. It's not like I was homeless.
Right, right.
Comfort, like, no, you're welcome to be here. Don't worry, to get that, it just made me feel special. It made me feel like, wow, someone really cares about, because I'm, like I said, I'm the one that's always pouring into the lives of others. So for me, hundredfold like that was just like amazing. So I didn't want it's something that's dear to my heart. And we actually met in church. My sister friend from church, from working in the ministry and just
Mm-hmm.
being at church, and then we just became an extended family. And so because that's something that I would never forget, and we're still close, and the next week to go on the road and get together and fellowship.
but to
Excellent.
be loved on like that, right? Just
Excellent.
to be
Excellent.
loved
Yeah.
on like that.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Um, yeah, priceless.
Yes.
Priceless.
Because you can't
Mm-hmm.
buy that, right?
You
You can't be
can't.
born into it. It's just far and few between. When somebody lets you into their home or somebody
Yes,
extends a welcome into their home, that's special. That's intimate. That's
Yeah.
that's with your pieces, right? So if you're
yes,
gonna let somebody
Mm-hmm.
in, it has to be the
Mm-hmm.
same kind of energy, right? Like
absolutely.
you're one of us. So
Yes.
because you're special, you are
Yeah.
special.
Mm-hmm.
Wow,
Well,
this is winding up really quickly. I just getting started.
oh my gosh. So look, it sounds like we got to do a part two on
Yes.
Friday. So
Hmm.
don't forget, join us on Friday, March the 10th at 12 p.m. The same platforms that you're watching us on right now. Join us on Friday at noon, and we're going to have a Strong Friends part two.
Yes.
And yeah, and I think that's important too, going into the weekend, whatever kind of week that you've had and experience. Yeah, this
Hmm.
may put something on your mind and on your heart, how you need to proceed for the weekend. Yeah, this is good.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Well, today, our wonderful host, Dr. Lisa Lewis, will be doing our freebie today. This is your chance to get into her DMs.
Yes, yes, and
Please.
I'll read them, and I'll.
Yes, she is also going to give a 30-minute strategy session. So please reach out to her on any of these platforms, and she will definitely respond. If you have any closing thoughts before we leave, and then Lisa, you'll pray us out tonight.
So I have the Daddy's Girl lesson because we're working on um but we don't want to get bogged down into it. But we're working on coming soon. It's Daddy's Girls. We are going to get together and have an intimate time together. So we're looking forward to that. So, and those of you who are taking advantage of the freebies, you are automatically on the list to be notified when the tickets go live for Daddy's Girls. But a lesson a Daddy's Girl lesson that I have is to sometimes we have to be our own best cheerleader. Sometimes we have to be our own best cheerleader. We have to encourage ourselves. What is there's a song oh gosh,
Encourage yourself in the Lord.
encourage yourself. Yes.
Mhm.
Oh I forget the guy's name who sings it, but it's encourage yourself. But David did it, right?
Mhm. Mhm.
David had to encourage himself because he was just down in such a low place, encouraging himself. And then Job had to encourage himself when his friends were cutting up and and telling them to just curse God and die kind
Mhm.
of situation. And what did you do? And all this stuff wouldn't be happening to you. But that comes back to the relationship that you all talked about, the personal relationship with God, but encouraging ourselves is important. It's critical. It is critical. And Ada, any closing words before we close out with prayer? Before I close out in prayer?
Not well, I would just encourage everyone to be that strong friend. And if you need a strong friend, to open up, because as they say, closed mouths don't get fed. And,
Yes.
there's always someone the think is there for you. Sometimes is the one that would be there the most. So there's a ram in the bush, there's a friend
Mhm.
there that is willing to storms of life, whatever it is that you're going through, whether you're going through in the workplace, or whatever it is. Just open up, be free to ask for the help. Even if it's a friend that you want to contact, but get the help, because there's always someone that you can help you get over the situation.
Right.
Yeah. I'm so excited. That's why we got to do the part two because Women's History Month theme is celebrating women who tell our stories
Right.
and speaking up and telling your story and my story. Because yeah, we're not the only ones dealing with it or having gone through it or something, similar. So the storytelling is important and
Right.
it's critical. So we're gonna
And before you pray, happy International Women's Day, ladies. We didn't open up with
yay.
that. So
Yes, thank you. Yes,
mm,
and that's a common theme, right?
yes,
Regardless of where you are in the world,
yes.
women's stories and situations are common, regardless of the soil on which you stand.
Hmm.
Um,
Yeah.
yeah, part
Yes.
two,
Yes.
Friday at noon. And so I just want to leave the viewers and listeners, even if you're watching the replay, I just want to leave you with a blessing, right? I speak a blessing over your life for all the women who consider themselves strong women, strong friends. Take time to care for yourself. I speak a blessing and the anointing and the power of no over your
Mm,
life.
yes, God.
Learn how to say no to the things you need to say no to in order to say yes to the things that you need to say yes to. And on that note, we will see you Friday for part two.
Yes.